taking my quadcopter on holiday with me. This is going to be a family holiday and I'm actually travelling off to Slovenia. Done a bit of research and this is going to be my thoughts about what I've actually done and possibly what's a good idea and what isn't a good idea. So let's see where we go. Few bits and pieces. This is the main drone that I was thinking about taking. It's my Quadcopter Sparrow. It's a great little drone. It's 130, 140 millimeters on the thing. It absolutely zips around, and it will take that thing there, which is my Mobius Mini. So I will be able to actually video from the thing. There's some advantages and disadvantages to it. The disadvantage is it's moderately noisy. I've done some research about flying in Slovenia and I'm not exactly sure. I've done some of the sensible things. I've actually looked at what size might be useful to fly with. So I want to keep it below 250 grams. And generally I want to be flying where there isn't any people, where there isn't any airports, obviously, and where I'm not going to be annoying people. That's my key thing about flying in this country, to be quite honest. You can fly anywhere you like as long as you're out people's way and you're not annoying people. People won't come over and bother you if you're not bothering them. So that's the main quad that I'm actually going to be taking. The other thing I'm going to actually take is that jobby. That is my Leader 120. That's a great little quad. That's a 2S quad. That's relatively quiet. If I can work out how to do it and get some video editing done, I might cut in some video of the sounds of the Ts2 flying. That is very quiet and it shouldn't actually bother anybody. You can zip that around and it won't get in anybody's way. But one other consideration I've got is, what do I actually take? And if I zoom out, I got quite a lot of stuff to take on there. So I've got the two quads. I've also got a Turnigy AccuCell charger. That is bloody huge. It also requires a 12-volt power supply. Don't really like that. I may do a thing and see if I can weigh all of this and see what the total weight is. I've got my Evo EV800D glasses over there. They're reasonably big. I can't beat the size on them. Unfortunately, they charge from a 12-volt charger, which is over there. Again, I don't really want to be taking that with me. I've got Turnigy Evolution transmitter. Now that's actually quite handy. That is about as small as it's going to get. It also charges off of micro USB, so that's not going to be a problem. I've then got a big bag of antennas, bag to keep the things in. I then also have batteries. I have a battery bag there, and one of the things I didn't bring up for this part of the video, which is annoying, I bought a Team Black Sheep battery bag. That's actually quite good. That's a black LiPo bag, and it's actually got the FAA rules about what you can carry in your luggage with you. I'm going to be traveling with LiPos. Pretty sure that the quads are going to go in the hold, but the LiPos are going to go in my hand luggage in a bigger version of one of these things, which says FAA, I'm allowed to fly with this up to certain wattage of batteries. So what I'm going to do now is actually see what my Quadcopter Sparrow weighs. So let's turn that on. 0. The Sparrow on its own with a few straps is 153 grams. Add the Mobius Mini, 183 grams. We then add a Tattoo 850 battery. Now this takes us to 265 grams actually. Now technically that's a bit too much. I also have the Gaoming 450 batteries and we hit 132. The problem with those batteries is you don't really get very much flight time on the things. I'm waiting for some Gaoming or GMB, whatever they're called, 650s to actually turn up. I think they're going to be the sweet spot. At home, I would consider racing on these things, these race specs. These are 850s as well, but they are 4C batteries. You put that on and we're up to 280, 290 grams on the thing. just too big. That's a 2S battery, so I can't do anything with that. That is a Eternity Nanotech, again taking us to 222. They're actually quite a nice light battery actually. I didn't realise that was so light, but again they're just not enough, and they haven't got the right connectors on the end. In comparison, the leader, let's put that on this, the cable goes on there, cover that thing up, is 71 grams. That's just stupidly light. Add a battery, 106 grams. I'm not going to be able to put the camera on there, it just will not fly, but that is not going to upset anybody at all. So what I've done now is I've chucked all of that kit that was on the bed into this bag, and I've got a luggage weigher. So let's turn that on, wait for it to zero out, wait for you to be able to read it at all. Now you can't read that, but that actually says no grams on the things. I pick the thing up and I am getting about 4 kilograms on the thing. Yeah, so that's not acceptable. Yeah, so that weight is just really not acceptable. I'm going to have to do something about it. So that is going to be victim number 1. That just can't go. It weighs too much. It's going to take up too much baggage on there. I can't even move the cable now. I will have to check it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the best part of a kilogram on its own. So that is off. To be replaced by that thing. That is a balance charger. Now I can just plug a figure 8 cable in the back, and I've actually gone out and bought a European one, so that can go in the back, and that charges off balance ports at the front. Now that will be good for 2S and 3S batteries. I don't know how you charge a 1S battery on there, and I believe I'll actually read on the back. Can't read what it says. It kicks out. Sure, it says on here somewhere. I think it's something like 1 and 2 amps. For the 2S, it kicks out 1.2 amps and 1 amp for 3S. So that's going to be absolutely fine. I've never had any problems with charging my batteries at 1, 2, 3 times C rating on there. They're modern batteries. They're supposed to drain up to about 50 to 70 blooming C. So that should do me nicely. So that's going to cut down on weight number 1. Weight number 2 is that devil. Now that is my Evo 800D charger. It kicks out to 12 volts. It kicks it out to this tiny little pin. When I had the Evo 800s, that originally came with a USB style cable that you could just plug straight in and go. And the new one didn't. Instead, it came with one of these cables, which again has the tiny little connector on one end, and it has a 3S connector on the other end. Now that is an option. I could take that on holiday and I could use that, and I could fly by plugging in my Zippy compact batteries, and I could charge them overnight using my battery that I've had, and then run that off the thing. And that's probably a viable option. I'm not particularly keen on taking the Zippy on holiday with me. So in the meantime, I've made myself one of these things that has got a tiny little connector on one end, USB on the other, and that is a step up, step down converter on there. So it's feeding in 5 volts one end, normal USB, kicking out 12 the other way. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. I've actually ordered something which is a lot better, a lot cleaner. When that turns up, if it works properly, I will heat shrink that all up, wrap it around in tape, and be good to go. They actually get slightly warm, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful, but that is going to drop me down a lot of weight. So tools, I'm not going overly mad on tools. I've got a 1.5 and a 2 hex driver. I've got a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver there. I've got a socket for taking my props off on this thing, and some grips because otherwise I can't hold the motors. I've got three spare sets of props in there. I might take some more spare sets of props on there. And basically nothing else. I'm not taking soldering irons or hot glue or heat shrink or anything like that. The Gepard Sea Sparrow has been fine, but I have broken 3 frames on the thing. When it comes down, if you come down at an angle, it tends to break across the motor end here. It's really going to be a case of fly it safely, fly it nicely. If it breaks, it's broken for the holiday. Really just a case of putting it back and bring it straight back. For cases, I'm going to leave the Gepard Sea Sparrow in its own case. It's a nice size. It's not overly big. I won't obviously put any of the batteries in it while I'm flying. They need to go in my hand luggage, and this is going to go in the hold. That is my case that I use for my Leader 120, and it's just too big really to go in the hold. Just space and weight. So that is going in a Tupperware pot there. Going in with that. That's not actually the right channel for that thing, it's for another quad, but that should hold everything in place, so that should keep the weight down again. That is the parts I normally use for my goggles on there. That's needed. That's my Menace Bandicoot patch. That's fantastic because I use linear. That's useful on there. Probably going to take that thing. It's not going to take up much space. That will plug into my phone and I can use that for FPV and recording. Don't need another patch, don't need a linear, don't need any adapters, so that is all going to clear me out some space. So it's really a case now of what's my weight dropped by. So we're back weighing again, and oh, that's showing 0. Let's see if we can get this to come up. And that is now showing 2.9 as opposed to 3.9, nearly 4. So we've lost basically a kilogram in weight. That's actually important because this flight's actually got quite a low luggage allowance, and while my girlfriend, strangely enough, isn't taking very much luggage, I'm taking quite a lot, and I'm not sure she'll be too happy if we leave important things behind. Anyway, let's see where we go.